of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security that handles all your regulations. Through SSNs, the Student Exchange Visitors Information System, which is the database where your I-20s are maintained. Through the SCVP, which is the Student Exchange Visitors Program. All comes under USCIS. So there's information on their website, www.uscis, relating to your non-immigrant regulations, how things are affected by COVID right now, and what the differences are. Another thing to be aware of is your I-94 card. This is your entrance-exit card. You all have one. Anybody who's ever traveled has an I-94 card. You need it to file for things. To file for a Social Security number, to file for a credit card, to get an apartment, to get a driver's license. You need to be able to generate your I-94 card. It keeps track of every time you come in this country, every time you leave, and what status you're in. It's real easy to run. Just go online, you put in your first name, last name, passport number, where you got your passport, what country, and it'll generate the report for you. In the old days, you would fill out a card on the airport, and they would staple an index card inside your passport. That was your I-94 card. If you lost it, you had to file $350 to replace it. Now you can run it all day long online, so it's made life a lot easier now that it's electronic. So you'll always be able to run your I-94 card. Sometimes there's mix-ups. Sometimes the point of entry officials put you in the wrong status. They recorded you as a J or an M or a B. You may have to go down to deferred inspection to fix that. So that's why if there's issues with the I-94 card, we need to resolve it. If they don't record your entry or they record it wrong, which does happen, it needs to be fixed so it doesn't affect you later. What do you need to notify the USCIS of? Within 10 days, you're supposed to do the following. You're supposed to notify the USCIS. Basically, you notify me and I notify the USCIS. Any changes in your name, if you get married or you change your name to something else, any changes in your address, whether it's in the U.S. or your home country, if you change your major, if you change your program, you need a new I-20, you may need a new extension, again, with the program end date, paying attention to that. Employment information while you're on OPT. So basically, the way that's going to work for this first quarter is I have to register all your files within 30 days of the start of this academic term. If I don't, they automatically terminate. So I have to tell the government, he or she showed up, they're attending classes full-time, they're maintaining your status. I have to register you in the system. I cannot register you if two things didn't happen. Number one, you had to pay the I-901 fees. When you were issued an I-20, in your cover letter, when you got the I-20, it said you needed to go online and pay the I-901 fee. Most of you, they had to verify that when you went to the consulate. If it's not paid, I can't register your record. If you're a transfer student and you transferred your I-20 from your old college to this one, the fee transfers over, you don't have to pay it again. It's only if you got a brand new initial record. Second thing is, I cannot register your record if I don't have a local address. So all of you, within the next 10 days, if you haven't reported your local address here in Southern California, I need to get it done because I can't register your file without a local address. So when I go on your I-20, I press the registration button, it says, unable to register this record, no local address. So make sure I have your local address within 10 days of any change. Okay, basically, the requirements to maintain your F1 status, the biggest one is full-time attendance. Number one, more students lose their status every quarter for this reason than any other reason, because they didn't maintain 12 units. And the thing is, if you're an F1 student, even with COVID, and you're studying abroad online, you still got to maintain 12 units. So you don't even have to be in the country to violate this requirement if you're not maintaining 12 units. And that gets unfortunate because all those students studying abroad, they lost their status, now they're not eligible for work benefits unless they put in 3 more quarters on the new 120. So it's important to keep that status so you can qualify for those benefits. You have to maintain 12 units of study every quarter. You have to be full-time students. Now, this is complicated with COVID. Because under normal circumstances, you can never take more than 3 of your 12 units online. So what the government is saying is that you got to carry 12 units, which is typically 4 classes. At least 9 units have to be in the classroom. So if you have 4 classes, only 1 can be online. If you have 5 classes, 2 can be online. If you have 6 classes, 3 can be online. So you have to maintain a minimum of 12 units under normal circumstances, and 9 of those 12 units need to be in the classroom. Because of COVID, and because our curriculum is affected because of COVID for this quarter, that's why you only had to have 1 hybrid or in-person class. This is the only time under COVID that you can take this many online classes and stay in status. When things go back to normal, if that ever is possible, which hopefully will be as soon as next quarter, when we resume normal operations, you're going to be subject to this rule. So even now, and from this point forward, you always have to have 12 units. Once things go back to normal, no more than 3 of those 12 units can be from an online class. Okay? Because things are going to change rapidly once things go back to normal. You need to transfer or extend your program in a timely manner, or finally for timely requests for extensions, change of status, transfer, work benefits. Don't ever assume that somebody filed something for you, because they didn't. You have to file it. You have to file that extension. You have to file for that work benefit. Don't ever assume it was done for you. Sometimes I do it for you, but I want you to know about it. So you need to take care of the stuff in a timely manner. You need to keep continuity in your program of study. Any absence from your program or from the country exceeding 5 months makes the I-20 no good. So we're going to talk about when you can take a quarter break. If you take 2 quarter breaks in a row, that's 6 months. That makes the I-20 no good anymore. That means you have to be outside of this country, and to come back, you'll need a new initial I-20, and to qualify for benefits, you'll have to put 3 quarters on that new I-20 to qualify. So that's why you got to be careful on this. Don't be absent from your study for more than 5 months, or you got to redo the whole I-20 thing. Refrain from unauthorized work. I'm going to show you when you can work. I've seen people be deported for unauthorized work. I've seen people be turned around at the airport for unauthorized work. It seems like a really small, minor thing. DHS makes a big deal out of everything, okay? So just make sure there's nothing on your record that can be used against you in terms of your status. Refrain from unauthorized work. Make sure it's authorized and processed before you start. Get the proper employment authorization before beginning the work. If you're going to do CPT, which we're going to talk about in a minute, which is like paid and unpaid internships before graduation, make sure it's processed on your I-20 before you start. I can't enter anything retroactively. Don't do an internship for a week and say, oh, here's my paperwork, I've been there a week. I can't process it from a week ago. I can only process it from the day you turn it in. So make sure it's turned in before you start the work. Make sure you file for that OPT. Check for the signatures with travel. Get a new I-20 every time you start a new degree program. Some students think, oh, I finished my AA, I'm going to do a bachelor's. All he has to do is extend my record. I have to issue a new record. It's really an adjustment of your existing record, so it's the same CVIS ID number, but in essence, it's a new I-20 for a new program. So if you're going to finish one program and start another, make sure you have a new I-20. Don't stay beyond the 60-day grace period. When your program's over or your work benefits are over, you automatically get an extra 60 days to stay in the country. Make sure that whatever changes you're going to make are done within those 60 days. Either transferring to a new program at the same school, transferring to a different school, applying to change your status, like to an H-1B or TN or whatever other status you're eligible for, or prepare to leave the U.S. within the 60 days. Process leave of absence requests before you take off. You're on a quarter system. Every academic term is normal and compulsory. Summer, normal academic term. Winter, normal academic term. You're not off for the summers. You mandatorily have to go to school for the summers. So if you're going to take the quarter off, which a lot of you do, make sure you process that leave of absence before you take off. Otherwise, I have no idea where you are and what you're doing. And when I go to register your record, I can't verify if you took a break or not, your record terminates, now you're out of status, it's hard for you to come back in. So just make sure if you're going to take a quarter off, you file for it and it's processed on your I-20 before you take off. Keep your passport I-94 valid. Anybody here have a spouse or kid with them? Okay, so I don't have to cover F2 dependents then.